We decided to drive with our body. We only told the dad that your daughter had died because we didn't know how to break the news to the mom.
Yo! Viboyo Oweyo! Yeah!
This hip-hop turned Afrobeat hitmaker is an unstoppable force in the music industry. Doubling as a producer.
I'm a better producer behind the producer, telling him what to do.
And as an artist, with sound beats that shake the walls of every club in town.
Track it, mama.
Viboyo Oweyo ventured onto the music scene as a DJ with a passion that made him bridge artists to the promised land.
I got to know DJs from top clubs. I got to know radio presenters. I even got to know more artists.
He was well connected and he knew almost everybody in the industry.
With the skills of a DJ and an ear of a producer, Viboyo's recipe to production of club bangers is still a secret untold, but heard through his grand sounding music. This is Viboyo, the story behind the Bilboard star.
Abani bamutambuza be baleeta obuzibu anti bamutwalako ekiro mu disco dance.
With skills of a producer, songwriter, and as a DJ, Viboyo's claws in the music industry have not gone unnoticed.
I've worked with Kid Fox, I've worked with Bella, I've worked with Priscilla Karibala.
He has played a big role in our industry, but I know not so many people know that.
He really helped so many artists put their music out there.
As a young boy, he endured the pains of being a laughingstock at his school for wearing torn uniforms with no shoes.
School fees and shoes and torn uniforms, those were my everyday rhythms.
Viboyo chose to take a different route in life after his Form 6 to chase his dream.
I studied up to Senior 6. I tried to do a course, but then stuff was hard. Stuff was really, really hard.
With a strong family foundation, under the guidance of his mother, Viboyo tried many things that could provide food on the table, but kept a close eye to his ideal profession.
In 2000, I quit school and concentrated more on my street hustle.
Today, Viboyo is very much involved in film and video productions at Swangz Avenue, and every once in a while visits the studio to get his groove on.
He heads our video department here.
Viboyo Oweyo was born Moses Nsubuga on Valentine's Day, 14th February 1984, in a family of 3 to Mr. Mutwalib and Madina Namusisi.
Both late. Biologically, I have a big sister and a brother.
He's my follower. I'm the firstborn of 3 children.
His father was a designer while his mother was into business.
I think I get my taste of clothes from him. My mother was a traveling lady. She was a businesswoman. She was into traveling.
But unfortunately for Viboyo, his father, Mr. Mutwalib, died a few months before he was born, and his mother, Madina Namusisi, passed on when he was just 3 years old.
He died a few months before I was born, and I was raised by my maternal aunt, because my mother also died like 3 years after I was born.
To give birth to Nicholas, and she got some complications. in that process, she died.
Hajat Hanifa Nansasi eventually took on the responsibility of taking care of the little Moses in Subuga, despite having many people under her care.
She made me not miss my parents. Everything I needed, she was there. She was what I might call a typical peasant, but she could work her head off to make sure we are fed, we go to school.
She's caring, she's loving, but she's hard, very hard, especially when it comes to education.
She's a very strong woman. She gave birth to so many children.
We call her Mommy, and then she's the one who brought us up.
During his childhood, Viboyo enjoyed being around his large family.
They would tell us to go and sleep during the naps, and then he would make fun, pull the blanket off you. Then when Mommy would call, Moses, Mudiwa, Roach, they would call me Roach instead of Rachel. Then they'd say, Twebase. So one time she beat us. Abantu babebase basobola okwogera nga bebase. So we learned. Whenever she would come and say, Mupolachi, would just keep quiet, would not say anything. He loved playing with the cars, those the wire cars. They would buy for him wire cars, and then the balls made from Ebiai would play Okwepena, then Kwefumbiriza, those things with our cousins.
As the years rolled by and Viboyo got fond of his brothers and sisters, the family would soon be hit with grief for a period of time when Hajat Hanifa Nansasi started losing her own children.
We watched most of her kids die as we were growing up. And to me, that was very sad. Very sad that she's the one who normally took care of them in hospitals, and they all died in her hands.
Some are still alive. Like in life, nothing is permanent.
Every kid that finishes university mysteriously died, and she lost like 5 of them.
She gave birth to so many children.
She had like 15 kids of them. There was George, there was Sam, there was Arnold, there was Mosesi. All those are late, the ones I'm talking about. There was Leia, she's also late.
This would be extremely very hard on the family, especially at a time when income was at the bottom of the well. Viboyo was introduced to the music world at a tender age while still living in Bali.
When I was a kid, one of my cousins, the late now George, used to be a DJ. I remember we used to stay in Bali, and he was a DJ. He had a disco, he had a mobile disco called Soundmasters.
He had the biggest, I think I would call a system that time. So he would play loud music.
It's from him, I think, that I can remember most of my early childhood musicals, or music introduction, should I say.
He would entice us into music. He would tell you you're not going out, no visitors, but you can play music as much as you want.
Tujivuge awawe sipanya kuhaiwe tujiwa fawapule anti tufumbisa mitwe bulijjo tomba ku mutwe ino nyamali kuwena ye mukwano chichi ombadala nnyo.
With everything that had happened so far in their family, Hajat Hanifa wasn't going to let her children become wasted in a profession that wasn't highly regarded.
Every day I used to sing at home. So I believe my aunt realized I had the love of music, but she wanted me to continue with books.
She would say, Kati, mfachokosoma, have paid school fees, you just want to go and play music.
With music at his core, Viboyo attended a couple of schools, but it would be in Uganda Air Force Primary School that he first joined a school choir, and later on joined his secondary school house choir in Mengo Senior Secondary School.
I first joined the school choir in my P6, that was in Entebbe, in a school called Uganda Air Force Primary School. And from there, when I joined Mengo SS, I was also in my house choir, which was in Sovuga. Basically from late primary to early senior secondary school life, that's when I was mainly into music.
Most of the time I saw him, it was always music. music. He loved music. Like, he was so passionate about music.
Would come and make noise for us, shout, making, I think he would say he's making a voice.
He even influenced us to like this music, rap, hip hop. Like, he would sing a Tupac song, he would, rhyme.
Singing in choirs wasn't cutting it for the little young fella with soul at heart.
The reason I quit singing in schools at such an early stage, I think I found it not cool anymore. It wasn't as appealing as what I was seeing on TV. It wasn't as cool as what I was hearing on radios. And then I think we had Radio Sanyu, we had Capital Radio, and they used to play what we termed as very cool music from Jamaica and US. Rap and dancehall, raga. With all those types of music, I found the choir music very boring, and I decided to take on the world music.
Viboyo would soon become involved in escaping from school over the weekend to attend day discos, even when he had no money to pay for the entrance.
And I remember then you could walk miles and miles without any money, going to a trans-day dance, but without money that is going to get you in. And when you reach the venue, you start plotting on how to get in.
The boy took us. So he told us, I want you to come and see me perform. This was like the first time I saw him perform.
Our main capital was the fact that we could imitate other rappers, or we could rap.
I would call him probably the Tupac of the day. To me, my Tupac of the day, because he even influenced us to like this music.
It wouldn't be long before Viboyo crossed roads with luck when he made a lasting impression on a DJ who had visited his school at Mengo Senior Secondary School.
One of my late friends, Menton Paddy, I think he had joined, by the time he died, he had joined politics and comedy. He used to be a DJ with the Menton Summers and what. So one day they came into our school, they came to play. And because I had known him from a friend, I pleaded with him. He got me to the DJ, and the DJ felt sorry for me. He gave me the mic, and I don't even remember what I sang then. By then, just holding the mic, even without singing, I mean, it could get you even the entertainment prefect position. So, because they had seen me with a microphone and the pictures came out later, they started calling me MC, rapper, they started calling me nigger. You mean all those funny names at school. They used to call me Tupac, they used to call me Busta Rhymes.
With everything that was going on at school, Viboyo made a tremendous effort not to reveal the financial struggles that was eating up his family back at home.
I remember so many moments where I was chased from school because I didn't have school fees. My maternal aunt was paying my school fees, like I said, but sometimes we got a hand from relatives. Relatives could come in and help in here and there.
This soon took a toll on Viboyo, who struggled to cope with school and occasionally got laughed at for turning up at school without shoes or for having patches on his school uniforms.
School fees and shoes and torn uniforms, those were my everyday rhythms. I would listen to that music every day. Guys laughing at me, teachers dissing me.
Coming up. Remember the days of kwasa kwasa, chanting to the lines of chaka chaka.
I wouldn't say I tried to sneak into the house.
Would escape on Saturdays and go to, is it DV8?
Zino stories z'ekifirika ezitunyigiriza oluusi ne twevuma obufirika.
With the number of children Viboyo's aunt had to raise, time came when she could no longer make ends meet. It would be then that she decided to set up a chapati-making business, having Viboyo sell them at school to earn money and pay for his school fees.
I remember she was like, I'm tired of begging. She told me, let's start making our chapatis so that you make your own school fees. And that way you even do better in school, knowing you're looking for your own school fees and doing stuff.
She used to say, go to school, go to school, go to school. I want you to be successful. I want you to be, the best person that you can be in life.
I want you to study, okusomate kulimba. That's what aunt would say.
We sold all kind of simple stuff to raise money for food and school fees.
And right before his final exams for his senior 4, Viboyo received a shock of his life when he was not cleared to sit for exams due to pending school fees.
One of the moments that I will never forget in my life was when we were supposed to register for the seniors 4 exams. And time was running out. We didn't have money. We didn't have anywhere to go. And I went back, the teachers came back and told everyone who hadn't registered to go out or go home until you come back with the registration money. When I went back home, she told me, you know what, I don't have any money on me and I don't know what we are going to do, but I have transport and I know I have friends who head schools in Mbali. So I want us to get on a bus. I'll talk to that head teacher. I know he will get a way of helping you to sit for your exams. And somehow the magic happened. I registered from a different school, sat for my exams, and that was miraculous to me.
With that chapter out of the way, Viboyo embarked on doing the things that pleased him the most. Clubbing.
Would escape on Saturdays and go to, is it DV8? One time they went to DV8 and came back home at, I think, 1 o'clock.
I wouldn't say I tried to sneak into the house from a club or a disco or a party. So all the times I came back home, I had to knock and they had to open for me.
This was something he did on a daily, returning home quite late in the night, prompting his aunt to give in.
One morning when I came back home, she opened up for me and asked me how stuff was, if they were paying me any money, and if I was interested in what I was doing, and if it's what I wanted to do.
Then Mommy said, Onalawika, he wants music, let me just let go.
From then, she has been giving me blessings to go on and on.
In the year 2000, Viboyo quit school and concentrated on doing nothing but music. And it did not matter to him what he would be doing, but it would be DJ Rota who pointed him in the right direction.
I started going to DJ Rota's place, trying to see if I could get anything I could do out there, because actually I was green, I didn't know anything, I didn't have any skills. And Rota was kind enough because he saw I had the love and the push and the courage. He said, you know what, I'm going to make you my official #1 DJ. Without any knowledge of computer and what, he took me and left me at a function. It was a graduation function and it was like, Viboyo, you're going to play music for these guys. I don't know how you're going to do it, but once you're done, just know you're my top DJ. After here, he left. And somehow I managed and survived.
I knew him through, William Street. There was all these, I think that's where Rota used to do his music, Rainbow Sounds, and Haman, some other guy, I forget his name, Image Sounds, Frankie, I think. And Viboyo was an apprentice of one of these guys, the guys that help you around, cut the CDs and everything and stuff. And first time he came with his music and called himself Viboyo Oweyo, I made fun of him. I told him, Veda yeyo, sigara yeyo, like, we don't know you, we don't want to know.
I was a singer before. So when I joined DJing, because there the money was coming in, every weekend I could get a few handouts. I mean, I could afford to buy myself a shirt or a new shoe. The only thing that I found hard with DJing is I couldn't get free times to go for concerts or performances, because concerts were on weekends and DJ functions also happen on weekends. So I concentrated on playing music as I collect money to afford recordings in studios.
His first time to perform in a club happened at Bingo Cinema Club, where open mic session used to happen at the time.
They used to call them karaoke, but yeah, because maybe they didn't have a better word to call the functions. But they were like open mic sessions. I remember I went and got on the mic and sang a song that belonged to the Boys II Men and some rappers. The song was called Vibing, I remember.
In the same year, Viboyo, with a couple of other artists, set themselves up to feature in the Millennium Song, which at the time was very much regarded as a must attend if you ever wanted to exist in the industry.
Nile Breweries was sponsoring a project called the Millennium Song, and they were doing a song to talk about what has happened in Uganda the past 100 years, 100, And we used to go to Nile Breweries in Luzira every day for rehearsals. From rehearsals, we could look free drinks and food. And then when the recording came, they sidelined us. And they were like, you guys, maybe at least you appear in the video. And we were like, okay, cool. And when the video day came, this guy made all the preparations. Like, they agreed we are going to meet at National Theatre at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll go shoot. So me and Bobby Wine and Master Parrot and some guy called Roger, who's now in Denmark, got wind of what was happening. And we were like, we'll be there before them, so maybe we get on the bus. And this guy, Roger, had come from Denmark. He brought us so many nice clothes, then. Reaching there at 5 o'clock in the morning, this guy had planned behind our backs and changed location without us knowing. And then somehow someone told us they are in Entebbe Resort Beach. So me, Bobby Wine, Roger, and Master Parrot walked to Entebbe to just appear in a video.
But even after doing all it took to be in that video, Viboyo and his friends failed to feature in the video.
And when we reached, Steve was like, no, you guys are so smart, you can't be smarter than the main stars of the song. And somehow we never made it to the video up to now. I think Bobby could be my witness on this.
Viboyo's first pay came in 2001 after performing at a school where he and his colleague were given $5 to share after the show.
My first pay from music was 4,000 shillings. And that was in 2001 when we went to perform at some school, and they gave us 8,000 shillings to share with Mosh. So that was my first pay, and it made me feel, I've never imagined that feeling, because I left home with nothing and I went home with some money.
His first big pay, however, came after he performed at a birthday party where he received $4,500 at the end of the day.
My first big paycheck was Kazinda. I think, we were doing some function for his wife in Sheraton, and he wrote 7 million for each one of us to perform on the birthday of his wife. And to me, that was big, because I had never been paid that kind of money to perform on a birthday.
Now that some money was coming in from the DJ gigs he was having, Viboyo was caught at crossroads and in a very hard place, making a decision on whether to turn to a career he was unsure would provide for him the kind of money he was looking for.
The only thing that I found hard with DJing is I couldn't get free times to go for concerts or performances, because concerts were on weekends and DJ functions also happen on weekends. So I concentrated on playing music as I collect money to afford recordings in studios.
The choice to remain a DJ gave him a platform to meet a number of artists and radio personalities that made him a link between DJs and artists who wanted their music to be promoted.
I got to know DJs from top clubs. I got to know radio presenters. I even got to know more artists, because all artists that could bring in music for promotion would go through me at Rota's place. And the DJs also used me as a link to be giving them new music, all the songs they didn't have.
He was well connected, and he knew almost everybody in the industry, and so he was a very good person to know if you wanted to make it. There are small things he has done in the background that have helped several other artists.
Swangz.
his popularity amongst the music fraternity, most young and upcoming artists engaged him to manage them because he knew his way around the industry. Bella would be the first of his managerial debut.
Along the way, I met an artist, Bella, who was, but then they were in the Shadows Angels. I also took it up on myself to write for her and help her, direct her how to perform the songs. Then from there, I started managing her.
For him, trying to get into the music industry, he had to hang around this kind of people. And then he got his own place, started doing his own stuff. He managed Bella for a while. I think they were actually dating.
I realized she could sing.
And there was this opening that the ladies had a bigger chance to break through in music than the guys. So with time, he was trying his music. Then he noticed, I think Bella should also be using that advantage.
We came up with a fresh plan, a new strategy of how to promote her and how to push her. And yeah, stuff worked out for her. Her first video reached as far as MTV Base.
Both Bella and him gained something out of it. Bella gained a lot of popularity with the songs that they put out.
We did songs like Fuss, we did songs like Dodo, we did Money, we did Chikiri. We did so many songs, and Fuss, I think Fuss was one of the first Ugandan's videos to play on MTV Base.
And Viboyo was behind most of the songs. And I'm sure they learned a lot of things for Bella as an artist and Viboyo as an artist and as an artist managing Bella.
Working together with Bella got these tag team admirers. This eventually leading to both dating each other, which unfortunately didn't last long.
From our musical thing, we got out another thing. Yeah, we ended up dating.
Bella was really a very, very important person in the life of Viboyo.
We thought they could get married because we all knew Bella as a family.
I really saw him as this guy who was very passionate about making this other person successful.
And once Bella's name started picking up, as pretty as she was, she also got exposed to, should I say, people who are maybe more richer, more exposed than me, more people who could give us stuff I couldn't. And somehow our differences started coming out big.
I think she got another older man, something like that. And then she moved on, and then he also moved on.
Even if they fell out as lovers, they are still good friends because he kept on helping Bella record some songs.
He worked his butt off to make sure that, she became successful. It's a sad thing that, along the way, I think things didn't,
Coming up. Opportunity at once.
I think we didn't realize she had died until the nurses came.
But he could not eat. Moses has good appetite, but he failed to eat.
Viboyo, who many have considered to be a gentleman and the kind of person that is very easy to get along with, has friends all over the country. And among these was Amon Lukwago, who offered him a computer and space to work from in his boutique.
When I was at Rota's place, I met a guy called Amon Lukwago. Amon Lukwago is a Ugandan who stays in the UK. But he needed to start, when he needed someone he could get Ugandan music from. And I was the best because I was connected between the artists, the DJs, and the music distribution.
He promoted and distributed very many artists' music, and he should be one of those people who should be recognized, though he doesn't even take credit for these things.
He used to come through me to take music and what. So when I felt I needed to move on from Rota's place, like any child, I talked to Amon, and fortunately Amon and Juliana were planning to make a boutique in town. Amon was dating Juliana then. So Amon was like, okay, I have a very nice computer. It has a very good sound system. I can give it to you, and you make a corner in the boutique. Maybe we'll share the money you make. We'll share 50-50. I was like, cool. And he gave me a very, very nice machine. It was a Dell, I remember, with a very unique sound.
He worked on that boutique and then converted it into a shop that produces music,
which is more a digital library, music library.
He brought in his nephews, and started building them. Joel, Bobo, Peter, they all went to that show.
But as time went on, Amon and his business partner, Juliana Kanyomozi, decided to close the boutique and handed over the responsibilities to Viboyo.
As the boutique was functioning, I think it didn't reach Juliana's expectations. So she bowed out and she told me, Viboyo, take over.
The boutique couldn't do so much, but music showed more. And the advantage it had is that Deviate was across.
After some time, he came and approached me and said, you know what, I have this shop. Why don't you come and take a bit of it? You sub-rent. I take one side and then you also take one side.
I took over ownership of the place, and yes, that's where Benon learned his production from. So when Benon was coming around to see my new place, it was like, but this computer, maybe you can help me start learning from it production. Yeah, and started learning slowly by slowly. That's where AD of Ngoni came, and so he could produce, though he needed more lessons on production. AD took him to Good Enough. He gave him more lessons on production. From Good Enough, Steve Jean took him to Phenon, and from Phenon, that's when he went to the US and came back with a computer.
With everything that was happening around him moving too fast, Viboyo worked day and night with friends he had met through his struggles, and Swangz Avenue was conceived in a bedroom that belonged to Benon Mugumbya.
When Benon came back, Swangz was born, but Swangz was born in the bedroom. Swangz was a bedroom studio.
It's in this room that many great hits have been created and many great artists have emerged.
The first song he recorded in his bedroom was Aziza Zioni's Nkumiro Mukwano, which was a mega super hit in Uganda. And from there, still in the same bedroom, before the studio even moved an inch, he recorded a song by Radio and Weasel, the remix of called Dagala. Yagara Dagala. And then he put some money together, bought plywood and constructed the studio in the garage. That's when Swangz started outing those big hits.
They had hits, the hits of Nkumiro Mukwano, Nyumiranyo Desire. There are so many hits that came out from Swangoli.
Swangz Avenue has indeed stood the test of time with numerous productions, including television. And Viboyo's name will come up alongside Benon Mugumbya, just to show you a strong bond with the people around him.
Viboyo played a big role in my life, as in there are some dots in my life whereby there are key people that played a role that steered me to where I am today. today, and Viboyo is one of them. He's that kind of person who has been around your life, you know, and we've grown together, and I'm very proud to be working with him.
On the 31st of July 2012, Swangz Avenue got the shock of their lives when one of their members suddenly collapsed and died.
This was a talent, a very, very great talent. She can do rap, she can do R&B. She was very, very gifted.
I remember the day she died, the previous day before she died, one of our friends lost a father, and the burial was in Masaka. So we were organizing how to go for burial, and Sarah called me and said, Viboyo, whatever you do, Temundeka, don't leave me, we have to go for the burial together. So she put it up on me to make sure we don't leave her. And we did whatever was supposed to be done. So the next morning, as we were gathering somewhere in Kabalagala, I found her in the car already seated, and she was making fun, happy, taking tea. And she was like, I'm the class monitor of this car, and everything you do, you have to go through me. She was in high spirit. We reached Masaka. The burial went on very well. And then she came and told me, Viboyo, mpulira nko njagala kutuulamu amagulu gannuma sitama wansi kutuuleko. I mean, it was all jokes, and I mean, we didn't know what was going to happen next. I went down, she sat on my shoulders, and after, I don't know what happened, but I had to go to the graveside. And then coming back, they told me, Sarah, ulira bubi bagambi agenze mu motoka kutuula. Because I knew she had a history of maybe ulcers and stuff, and we thought maybe because we had taken long to eat, it was hunger. Reaching the car, they told me, Sarah has collapsed. Nitumuyingiza mu motoka. And then we were like, muyingiza mu motoka atenga collapsing is too much heat. Bring her out. As we were trying to get her some fresh air, the driver was like, you know what? Let's go to the hospital. We are so deep in the village. Let's not play with somebody's daughter here. We were so deep in the village, it took us like an hour to get to the main road. Reaching Chitovo Hospital, Sarah died on the entrance, and it was... Yeah, it was, up to now, I don't know how to. Yeah, we called her mom. We called her mom. We didn't tell her she had died because there was no way we could break such news. We decided to drive with our body, the dead body, because we couldn't leave it in Masaka. We drove up to Nsambia. We called the dad. We only told the dad that your daughter had died because we didn't know how to break the news to the mom.
I think I was the only one at Swangz at our old premises, because everyone else had gone to Masaka to attend a burial. For a friend of ours had lost his dad. Everybody else had left. Viboyo, Michael Ross, my other workmate Julius. Basically, I was the only one. And in the evening, I think about 5 o'clock, I'm not very sure, I received a phone call from Viboyo. He was saying, Mana, Sarah is not okay. Why, she's dead. It was very, I couldn't believe it. You know, he hung up. Then after like 2 minutes, Julius called me, and he could not even talk. He was just, you know, that's when I broke down. You know, that's when I knew, oh, it was serious. The word got around, and people started coming to the studio. I remember, I think Eddie Kenz was one of the first people who came. Yeah, it was really, really a sad moment for us all. It's something we had never gone through. Losing someone who had become a friend, someone you had a lot of dreams and hopes and that was the saddest moment for Swangz, for us, and for me.
I was holding her. It was me and Vince, and it was a van. We were in the middle seat. I think we didn't realize she had died until the nurses came and told us, temutawana, tetulina kye tugenda kolawo. And that's when it came into our face that she was gone. And we decided, they wanted us to take the body to the morgue, to their mortuary. When we decided, we are going back with our body.
He was not believing what he had seen. Like, she was fine, everything was fine, then all of a sudden, she said, I'm not feeling well. They had to rush her to a clinic. But life, it was too fast.
After she passed, it really weighed on him. Emotionally, you could see like he was really missing something. And he would talk about it every now and then. And it took quite some time for him to move on from the loss of Sarah. It was really painful on his part.
So we're there, we supported him as family. I could not go for burial, but he went. Then after he came and spent our weekend with us, but he could not eat. Moses has good appetite, but he failed to eat.
This untimely death tarnished Swangz Avenue in more ways than one.
What broke us down mainly is the news that followed. Everyone was on us. How we killed Sarah. How could you kill the person you even have business interest in? Yeah, but I've lost a lot of people in my life, but Sarah's was the hardest, and till now still is the hardest moment.
Not my desire. I got this feeling that this love could be. Boy, you can never have love from me.
And many years later, on the 1st of February 2018, another good friend and colleague, Moses Sechibogo, also known as Mose Radio, passed on, leaving a huge devastating void in Viboyo's life.
After Moses dying, you'd see someone is desperate, in despair. What am I going to do? He was my friend.
It took Viboyo quite a long time to believe that he had lost his old friend Radio.
Those people have come to my house. I have interacted with him. They produced one of his songs at my home. So Moses was really his friend.
The time he did the song Jennifer, the first person to really push that song was Viboyo. Mose was a very, very, very dear brother to Viboyo.
But with the support of his family and friends, Viboyo moved on and focused on life without his buddy and very good friend, Radio.
We would come home every evening and we'd talk about it, discuss Moses, encourage him, telling him you're going to do it. That's how God is. That's how God works. We lost parents now. If you have, that's a second friend you have lost that you call a brother. So you just have to hang on. You have to be a man. You have to be strong.
He isn't about to give up what he has fought so hard to get. He is your best bet in getting you closer to understanding the dynamics of this industry.
Baby, you ain't ready now, baby, better ready. Omuli societies now, baby, make me your honey, binga buli jotuba tuti. Twunyisa abantu lave kwatakate. Never tuletere emisono, never tuletere mbwa. Never tuletere emize gitali ja kifirika. Bamu bagenda n'amalo wera baddanago. Ebintu bya Uganda byewunyisa ebimu ne bituswaza. Ng'ekyuma kya kansa emulago kirwaza ne kansa tuve mu nkayana ne siyasa solabi manyola asinagayagala amaaso n'amoola omwana joga.
This likable DJ, music producer and videographer friend to everyone in the industry, has gotten him sailing the high tides of the industry, and he's not yet done. The headset and golden mic is, well, still in the sight, are waiting for his great awakening.